You okay?
Yes, thank you.
I apologize.
You needed to do that.
I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Welcome to the May 2026 City of York Zoning Hearing Board meeting. You were before the Planning Commission prior to today, and that is what has now brought you before this board. We do take their recommendation into consideration, but our vote is of our own decision upon what is presented here in front of this board. I ask that you will please silence your phones. You will have the opportunity to come to the microphone. I will ask that you respect whomever is at that microphone at the time. The stenographer needs to take down everything that everyone is saying in here, and she can only do that if she can hear what is being said. So if you speak over one another, she will not be able to collect the information that is very impertinent. When you do come to the microphone, I would ask that you speak directly into the microphone so she can hear you. When you do first come up, I ask that you will state your name and give your address that can go on to the file. Anyone in this room that plans to say anything towards any of the cases that are presented tonight, I will need you to stand at this time so you can be sworn in. If you do not get sworn in, I will not notice you to hear anything that you have to say tonight. If you even think that you're going to say anything or give a comment, I ask that you would stand so that you can be sworn in. I will ask that you raise your dominant hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth, or I'm sorry, do you affirm that the information or statement that you will give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please respond by saying, I do. I do. Please note that everyone standing has been sworn in. I will now introduce you to our board. To my right, your left. Who's down there? Lester. We have Lester Abbott Jr., Blade Klein, Adam Nugent. My vice is Nick Holman. Franklin is to my left, and my name is Sina Jenkins, and I'm the president. Sir Solicitor, will you please read in the first case?
Sure. The first case this evening is ZA 25-31. As a preliminary note, I note that Mr. Nugent has recused himself on this case. He is a member of the Springdale Community Association, and so Mr. Abbott will be sitting in. This is an appeal of the zoning officer determination, which operates slightly different than our typical cases. It's my proposal, and I would look to the two counsel on this, that Mr. McMillian give his recitation of the case, how he came to his determination, what that determination is, and the facts upon which he relied in making that determination, and then open it up to the two of you to cross-examine Mr. McMillian, as the case may be, prior to moving on to your cases. I believe that the officer has the burden initially. Do you agree?
I do.
Are you okay with that?
I am with the, if I look indecisive. My name is Chris Naylor, counsel on behalf of Springdale Neighborhood Association. As to the determination being appealed, I have a little bit more to elaborate. I mean, that is the four corners of the document. So perhaps I just place a one-time objection as to any extraneous materials, that the determination is the determination. So with that, I have no problem with him articulating what, when, and why he did it, so long as the one-page document that is the subject determination speaks for itself.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Jones?
I do not, because we provided a follow-up document which Mr. Naylor has included in his memorandum of law to the board as a follow-up to that determination.
Well, let's have Mr. McMillian provide his rationale. And again, I think that you all are going to have the opportunity to ask questions. Hopefully this will resolve itself. Is that, everybody okay with that? Okay.
Okay, I originally came upon this case in February of 2025. Kyle Harris, Jones Harris, she put in the zoning determination, and at that time, I put it under rooming house because of the way everything was reading. So once we sent that back, I guess she got lawyers. Her lawyers contacted our lawyer, Brett Flowers, and then they came in for a discussion. Once that discussion was over, and I was directed to go to the property, to inspect the property, to make sure everything that they agreed on was in the house the way we wanted it, and that's it. I went there, did the inspection. Everything was on the up and up. It passed inspection. Then Brett sent me a follow-up email stating why she overruled me making it a rooming house is because in our ordinance, let me see. Our ordinance allows her to have up to 3 roommates before it becomes a rooming house. And that is the statement that Brett Flowers came, I think Dave Jones and Jason Sable, they met in the room. They came out with what we were supposed to do. So then we did a zoning determination for Kyle for the single family and made her get it licensed and inspected for tenant occupied so that we can always go in there every other year and make sure that the property stays exactly what we agreed to. After that started happening, we started getting numerous phone calls from the neighborhood association people saying all this stuff. So we had to keep following up on it. And then once we followed up on it, I think it was about 4 or 5 times, and I actually did a stakeout up there. And everything that was being fed back to us, we found to be untrue. So we couldn't work it out with the neighborhood association, so that's how we end up here.
I guess I would open it up at this point to basically go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, do the parties want to cross-examine Mr. McMillian as to?
I mean, I would, and then we have a case in.
Yeah, of course, right, yeah, that, absolutely. Yep, I was gonna open up to questions from the parties and then allow the parties to put on your cases as well.
Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Proceed accordingly.
and I don't care who goes first.
I'll let Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thanks.
Well,
Well, good evening. As indicated, my name is Chris Naylor, an attorney at Barley Snyder, representing the Springdale Neighborhood Association. I think just at a high level, because I think Solicitor Harold indicated this is a kind of an unusual posture of the typical variance special exception this board's going to hear. So what this is an appeal of a zoning officer determination, which Mr. McMillian just testified to. And at a high level, in a nutshell, just to set the preface to this, is we assert that that determination has allowed carte blanche.
Is he cross-examining or is he putting his case on? I thought
Well,
we were cross-examining.
As the applicant, I think I'm entitled to my presentation and case, Mr. Jones.
Well, I believe we were talking about cross-examining.
Well, so
And going into our case.
I mean,
I think there's some facts to set straight with Mr. McMillan before we move on to our case.
And I guess the reality is we can do that in a couple of different ways. We can start with cross-examination of Mr. McMillian and then move into cases in chief, or we could simply allow the case in chief and then allow him to be called as a witness by both parties, which, again,
I just want to move on. You guys have a long agenda. My thought is we're the applicant. It's our appeal that we be heard, and I will cross-examine Mr. McMillian, that Mr. Jones, who I don't believe has moved to be a party in this case to start with, can then be recognized to cross-examine Mr. McMillian. So I'll defer to the chairwoman. That was going to be done in about 2 sentences anyway. But that,
yeah, I think a brief opening would be appropriate, and then moving into questioning of Mr. McMillian. And of course, Mr. Jones, you'll have the same opportunity Yeah, I think that would be an appropriate course forward here.
So again, I just think it would be helpful before we dive into the weeds and these nuanced questions. The association essentially alleges, and this is what this board will determine, that what's being permitted by the zoning officer determination is a rooming house, a short-term rental, or some other use that's just not permitted under your zoning ordinance. So that's the posture of this appeal. And with that, I'm going to distribute exhibits to the board, if I may. And then to Mr. Jones, to Mr. McMillion. The other thing is a point of order. I do believe that there are a handful of individuals in the room that may want to be recognized as party opponents. So I'll defer to the chairman and the solicitor how you'd like to proceed with that protocol.
I would ask that they just seek that recognition at the time, and we'll handle it then.
Okay, and then what time would that be? Like,
Whenever they come to the podium.
okay, fair enough. I'll distribute the exhibits.
Have those people been sworn in?
Yes,
And we
all
can-
stood,
okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So with that, I'll move to cross-examine Mr. McMillian. So, Mr. McMillian, to be clear, you're sitting here tonight in your capacity as zoning officer for York City.
Yes.
And how long have you been the zoning officer for York City?
Going on 3 years.
Okay. And would you say that you're familiar with York City zoning ordinance?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. What I placed in front of you and the board marked as Exhibit 1 is your zoning officer determination that's being appealed. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And to jump right into the content, if I could direct your attention to the first sentence, picking up with the quotation, recent inspection showed only 2 roommates were staying at the property. First of all, do you agree that's a fair recitation of what the document says?
Yes.
And then could you describe to us what you meant by that statement, only 2 roommates were staying at the property?
There was only 2 people living at the property at the time of the inspection.
A total of 2 people?
Total of 2 people.
And you use the term roommates. Do you see that?
Yes.
Is that a term that's defined in New York City zoning ordinance?
It's in the zoning ordinance, yes.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so just to be clear, I'll move on. Your testimony is the term roommate is a defined term in the zoning ordinance.
Yes.
Okay. And then what is a roommate? What's the definition of a roommate then?
A roommate is somebody that's unrelated to the person,
And is that
to the owner.
a definition you've committed to memory, or are you reciting a section of the ordinance for our attention?
I'm citing the paper that our city solicitor wrote up for us, stating the ordinance, that our ordinance allows up to 3 roommates before it becomes a rooming house.
And again, your citation for that is what?
What you say?
You just gave us a definition. I'm asking, where did that come from?
It comes from the zoning ordinance that our lawyers found when they had the meeting with Miss Kyle Harris's lawyers.
Okay. And to be clear, can you cite us to where in the zoning ordinance that term is defined?
I can't write at this moment,
Okay.
but I can find it for you.
I may ask you to do that, but to keep things moving. So you just testified the inspection showed 2 people, a total of 2 people, right?
Yes.
And then who were those people?
It was Miss Harris, and she said she had a roommate, but the roommate wasn't there, but the clothes and stuff was there. So when I went in all the other rooms, there was nothing in any of the bedrooms, no sneakers, no nothing. So the house was set up that only 2 people were staying there at the time of the inspection.
And of those 2 people, it was Ms. Harris and 1 roommate.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have reason to believe that there was anyone else staying in the building at that time?
No, I do not.
And are those 2 individuals, the total of 2 people, to your knowledge, are they related by blood, marriage, civil union, legal guardianship, licensed or court-appointed foster care, or legal adoption?
I do not know, sir. I believe they're not related.
Okay. To your knowledge, do those two individuals, Ms. Harris and one roommate, do they live and cook together?
They have the opportunity to. They have one kitchen, a big kitchen on the first floor, and they was thinking about installing a kitchen on the third floor. So if one didn't want to eat or cook in the same kitchen, they would have an opportunity to cook on the third floor.
Okay, so I appreciate that they have the opportunity to, but can you testify that they do in fact live and cook together? Do you know?
I do not know. I do not live there.
Would you say that Ms. Harris and this one roommate constitute a single housekeeping unit?
Basically, yes.
And on what facts do you make that assertion?
The facts I make that assertion is normally because when we do the inspection and we find a house where there's multiple bedrooms and we go in the bedrooms and we check everything out and make sure everything is what the applicant puts on their paperwork. If there's anything different, the inspection fails and the house will be condemned. So when we went to do the inspection, it was random, off guard, so she didn't have time to do anything to the property to try to make it look good for the inspection. We went in, did the inspection, everything checked out exactly the way she said it was, and she passed inspection.
And I might have gotten a little ahead of myself. I asked you whether they were a single housekeeping unit. You said yes. Could you inform us what a single housekeeping
unit? No, they all live in one house. They each got a bedroom, and they can go in all the open area and everything. They actually share the whole house.
Right. But I thought a minute ago when I asked you, did Ms. Harris and the roommate constitute a single housekeeping unit? I believe you testified yes, they did.
I misunderstood.
So your testimony now is they do not constitute a single housekeeping unit.
Oh, man, I'm getting a little confused. All I know is they live in the house as one single family.
Okay. And I was going to ask then, just to back up, what is a single housekeeping unit as that term is defined in the zoning ordinance?
I don't have the definition in front of me, sir. I can't cite it correctly.
So two people, Ms. Harris and a roommate, do you know how long the roommate's lease duration is?
No, we do not determine that.
Did you ask that question?
No, that's not for us to determine.
Okay, and when you say us, who are you referring to?
City, we don't determine anybody's lease.
Okay. The city licenses leases, though?
What you say?
Does York City license leases?
We license the property, not the lease.
Okay. This one roommate, what access to the property did she have?
She has full access from what I've seen.
So she would have access to every room in that house?
Every room in that house except the bedroom that Ms. Kyle lives in. They both stay out of each other's bedroom, but she's free to go anywhere through the house.
Okay. So that means sharing the kitchen?
Yes.
And sharing bathroom facilities?
Yes, and they have multiple bathrooms, so.
And then just to make it crystal clear, because this is important, when you said in your zoning officer determination there were two roommates, one of them is Kyle Jones Harris and the other is another person.
Yes, and I believe they said they was getting one more, and that'd be it. And that's why it was saying that they would have two roommates at the house with Miss Harris.
Well, but that's, I guess, where I'm confused, because you say there's two roommates, which is okay with the zoning ordinance, which you said was Miss Harris and one roommate.
No, that's who was there when I did the inspection, but after the inspection was over, it was stated to us that they might have one more roommate coming for it to be two roommates and Miss Harris.
Okay, but your determination only says two roommates were okay, but you're saying that what you meant was up to three roommates is okay?
At the time, she had two roommates set up to come, and it would be her. So when I went and did the inspection, the second roommate was not there yet. Wasn't living there or anything. It was just Miss Harris and one other person.
But you'll agree your determination says two roommates, Ms. Harris and one person is what comports with the ordinance.
I based it on the information that was provided to me. She said she was going to have two roommates and herself. Okay. So that's what the determination states.
All right. Zoning ordinance determination, still Exhibit 1, same sentence. You assert comports with the city zoning ordinance. Do you see that?
Where do you see it? What?
So we have Exhibit A, which we've been discussing. First sentence, at the very end of it, it says, quote, comports with the city's zoning ordinance. Do you see that?
Is mine the wrong exhibit or something? I don't have Exhibit A.
Or Exhibit 1, I'm sorry if I misspoke. Exhibit 1, your email of August 26th.
When I said she bought the house into compliance with the city's zoning ordinance?
Well, you're getting ahead of me. I'm still in the first sentence. Do you see, it says, which comports with the city's zoning ordinance? Second line.
Oh. Okay, well, yeah, this was sent from our lawyer. I just copied and pasted and sent it back to Miss, I think this is Erica Towns. Yes, Miss Towns.
Okay. All right, but what we're looking at is your email of August 26, 2025, correct?
Okay, yeah.
All right. And it's sent from your email address, mmcmillian@yorkcity.org, right?
Yes,
And it identifies you as zoning officer, correct?
yes,
All right, and then just, do you see second line where it says, quote, which
Yes.
comports with the city zoning ordinance?
yes.
What did you mean when you said that?
What I mean is, when I went to do because I sent her a notice of violation for running the rooming house, and when that's what triggered the lawyers getting together. And once that all happened and they had their discussion and everything, this little paragraph was sent to me by our city solicitor, and she told me to copy and paste it and send it to Ms. Towns, so that's what I did.
Okay,
I
so-
didn't even read it.
When you say it comports with the city zoning ordinance, any particular provision it comported with, or just the broad, it comports with everything?
It could, wait, hold on. Well, then, when it comports to the city ordinance, that means she's in the city ordinance, that she was not violating it, saying that she was running a rooming house. So the contest the rooming house, and she was successful of that, I should say. So that's why we had to go back and do the inspection and everything to make sure that she brought the property into compliance, because there was kitchenettes and stuff in bedrooms that had to be removed for her to be in compliance with the city ordinance. So it didn't have nothing to do with the many people. It had to do with some of the kitchenettes in the bedrooms and everything that makes the house look like it's set up as a rooming house.
Okay. And you jumped ahead of me, but now we're on the last sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It says, instead of her appealing the notice of violation, she brought the house into compliance with the city ordinance. Do you see that?
Yes.
And let me refer you now, same packet, if you could flip to Exhibit 4, which is the last page. Do you see Exhibit 4?
Yes, sir.
And I think you may have already referenced this, but could you describe briefly what this document is?
This was a notice of violation that I sent to her for running a rooming house once I started getting calls from the neighborhood association or members of the neighborhood association.
Okay. And in this notice of violation, you allege that the premises is being operated as a rooming house, correct?
That is what the neighbors was calling saying, so that's what we put down, saying she had more than what she was allowed to have. And then I went and did another inspection, and she turned out not to have as many people as they said she had.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm just asking, in this document, first paragraph, you allege the premises is being used as a rooming house, correct?
No, that's what was coming in. So we went with what was coming in, because everybody said that they was taking pictures of everything, that she had more than 3 roommates in the house. So that's why I was sent there for another inspection.
All right, let me back up. So this document, you authored this letter, correct?
Yes,
You sign it in your capacity as zoning officer.
yes,
So I don't want to belabor the point, but you say you are hereby notified that the property is in violation due to the operation as a rooming house, correct?
yes.
Okay.
But once we got there, it wasn't operating as a rooming house, as I'm stating.
So you're telling me you issued this without any direct knowledge? You just issued this because people told you it was a rooming house?
Well, because of all the political stuff, they was just trying to make sure that we dotted our I's and crossed our T's. So we sent that to her and made her prove her case that she wasn't running the rooming house, and then that's what she did.
Okay, so just to be clear, you did not, these were not on your firsthand facts. You put this together because you said political
No,
pressure?
on the first-hand facts is when we did the first inspection, like I said, it was kitchenette set up in every bedroom to make it look like she was going to rent out more than just 2 bedrooms. So that's what made stuff look suspicious. And then when we started getting calls and everything, that's when it really pushed over the envelope. Well, they said, well, she got kitchenettes and everything, so she's probably running a rooming house. Send her a notice of violation and have her explain everything. So that's what we did, and she came in, explained everything, got lawyers and everything, they talked, and then we went and did another inspection to make sure everything was still the same way that it originally was supposed to be.
And then you just said they told you to send this. Who's they? Who told you to
City
send this?
staff, the lawyers, and my boss.
Okay. So in the second paragraph of Exhibit 4, it says, the premises was discovered to have at least 8 bedrooms. Was that your own firsthand knowledge, or is that, again, just what somebody told you, right?
That's what we know, the house had 8 bedrooms.
And then it says, prepared for commercial purpose of renting rooms to more than one family. Do you see that?
Yes.
And again, was that your firsthand knowledge or because somebody told you that?
No, that's because we saw an ad on Facebook where she was looking for roommates and everything, so that's what triggered it.
Okay. And then last sentence of that second paragraph, quote, a rooming house is not permitted in the RS1 zoning district. Do you see that?
Yep.
All right. So, and you agree, and this is the same as Exhibit 1, Ms. Jones-Harris did not appeal Exhibit 4, your July 15th notice of violation. Is that correct?
Nope, she didn't have to.
Okay. And back to that Exhibit 1. Again, last sentence, you assert, quote, she brought the house into compliance with the city zoning ordinance. You see that?
Yep.
And then can you tell us what you meant by that?
She got rid of the kitchenettes out of every bedroom. So nobody can cook in no bedroom. They have to share the kitchen. So once all that was out, that was the only thing that basically stood out to us that could make it look like a rooming house. And she didn't have all these people, so we can't say she had more than 3 people in there. Everything that we seen that we can document, it was only going to be 2 people there at the time. It was Miss Harris and another roommate, and then another roommate was supposed to be coming. I forget, probably like a month later, I forget what she said.
All right. So back to Exhibit 4, your notice of violation, you allege at least 8 bedrooms. Did that change?
No, still 8-bedroom house.
Okay. You allege that the 8 bedrooms were used for commercial purpose of renting rooms to more than one family. Did that change?
Yeah, that changed. She ain't renting no rooms to 8 people. She only is going to have 2 roommates. So once that got worked out and everything, she was in compliance.
You asserted commercial purpose of renting rooms to more than one family. Is Ms. Harris renting rooms to more than one family currently?
She's renting to 1 person, not family.
Well, I thought you said it was 2 people.
It's 2 people. It's supposed to be 2 people now, but when I went there, I keep stating, it was only 1 other roommate.
And Mr. McMillian, what is a rooming house?
A rooming house is the house set up that people rent rooms to more than, it's more than 3 people.
To
That's
3
renting
people
rooms.
or more than 3 people?
More than 3 people, because our zoning ordinance states that they can allow to have up to 3 roommates. So a rooming house would be more than 3.
All right. And do you know what a defined term roomer is? R-O-O-M-E-R?
Hold on, say that again, I didn't hear you.
I was asking you if you know what the term roomer, R-O-O-M-E-R, means as used in the York City zoning ordinance.
Well, I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna read you the definition of a rooming house. A building and range are used for living and sleeping with or without meals, but for compensation designed as accessory use to a single-family dwelling, not including more than 3 roomers, and in which no provision is made for cooking in any individual room or suite.
And then my question was, what is a roomer as that term is used?
A roomer is somebody who's staying in the room, renting a room. A roommate is somebody who has full access to the place.
And is that the ordinance per the is that the definition per the zoning ordinance, or you're in?
I don't have the ordinance in front of me to do it correctly, but basically that's what we go off of.
All right. So then, if you don't mind, your shorthand is, what is the difference between a roommate and a roomer?
A A roommate is somebody who, in our ordinance, we consider when you live in the house with somebody and you're not related, and y'all living as a single family and y'all have access to the whole entire property. And you're most likely, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they be on the bills or on the mortgage and everything like that. It all depends how the individual sets up their property.
And in this case, do you know whether these roommates are set up on the same bills?
I do not know.
All right, those are all the questions I have for Mr. McMillian. Thank you. So I guess,
I think it would make sense for Mr. Jones.
Maybe I can clarify something. Mr. McMillan,
Could you just,
oh, I'm sorry, Dave Jones from Saxon and Stump, yes, talking later. Saxon and Stump, on behalf of Kyle Harris Jones. I know we're not entered as a party, but my client owns the property at interest here, so I believe we're an indispensable party to this proceeding. Mr. McMillian, so actually in July of 25, you had sent a letter to Ms. Harris saying, we think you're running a rooming house. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And based on that, that was based on an inspection you did of the property with the building code inspector, is that correct?
No, it was a property maintenance
Okay,
inspector.
property maintenance inspector,
Yes.
okay. And when you walked through, you found that there's a 9-bedroom house, I believe,
Something like that.
Yeah,
8 or
not-
9 bedroom, yeah.
9 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And in the bedrooms, there was a small refrigerator and a microwave.
Yes, sir.
And in your opinion, that qualified as cooking and eating amenities. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what tripped the notice of violation to say this is a rooming house.
And plus,
Because-
we seen the advertisement online.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. But under the ordinance, there was more than 3 bedrooms,
Yes.
and there were cooking and eating amenities in each one of the bedrooms.
Yes.
So you sent this letter to Ms. Jones Harris.
Yes.
Okay. And then she called me, and we met with the city, with yourself, with Ms. Griffin, and with Ms. Flower.
Yes.
Okay. And we talked about some things. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And following that meeting, I issued a letter to the city. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in that letter, we put some conditions in that we had talked about at that meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So it said, Ms. Jones Harris may occupy the property and have no more than 2 roommates who will have the use of the majority of the residence, including the kitchens, at all times. And that if she ceases as the owner to occupy the property, she has to come back to the city and ask what she can do with it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. She must remove the small refrigerators and microwaves from the bedrooms, and the cooking and refrigeration of all items must occur in the kitchen area of the property.
Correct.
Did she do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. She must remove, she would be required to secure a license from the city for 2 rental units, subject to rental inspections, the payment of the required fees, and that was done.
Yep.
Okay. She may not have leases with roommates for a period of less than 30 days. Do you remember us talking about that?
Yes, that was what y'all proposed. Yes.
Okay. And that she would provide written copies of those leases upon request of the city.
Yes.
Okay. So if you can ask at any time, as you understand, you can ask at any time, and Ms. Jones Harris would have to provide you with copies of those.
Yes.
Okay. And then she'd be permitted to advertise for roommates on internet platforms such as Airbnb and VRBO,
Correct.
as long as the advertisement says it has to be for at least 30 days.
Correct.
Okay. And the property would be subject to random zoning inspections to make sure she's following up.
Correct.
Okay. Now, based on that letter being provided, did you find that the property was now in compliance with the zoning ordinance?
Yes.
And you consider it a single-family residence under those terms?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Naylor asked you a lot of questions about definitions.
Yes.
So for the rooming house, what's the key part of that definition, I believe, in your mind, has to do with 1, more than 3 roommates, and 2, cooking and eating amenities within each room. Is that correct?
Correct.
Does Ms. Jones Harris have those situations in her residence?
No.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Are there other residences in the Springdale Neighborhood Association that have more than 3 bedrooms?
Yes.
Okay. Are they running rooming houses?
I
Just
don't-
because they have more than 3 bedrooms?
Just because they have more than 3 bedrooms, that don't mean you're running a rooming house. but
So if they have a big old house that has a bunch of bedrooms, that's okay?
yes.
All right. Gotcha. So, do you recall whether Ms. Flowers issued another letter to Erica Towns, who is of Mr. Naylor's office, in March of 2026?
Yeah, I believe I have. it.
I can provide a copy if you need one. I can
Yeah,
provide.
can you provide me with a copy?
Okay.
Thank you.
Not on the board yet.
Yes, I do remember this one.
Okay. So if I may, I'd like to provide copies of this to the board as well as Mr. Naylor. Now, Mr. McMillan, I know you said you were providing a lot of back and forth emails and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Does this letter recite what the city's opinion was with regard to this property?
Yes.
And that was of March 12th, 2026.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I have anything further from Mr. McMillan at this time.
This is what I was looking for.
Go ahead. Sure, that's fine. Yeah, just briefly.
So, Mr. McMillian, Mr. Jones put into evidence or made reference to a letter of his August 14th, 2025. Do you recall him asking you about that?
Say that again?
Mr. Jones, who's just here at the podium, gave you and referred you to a letter of his from August 14th, 2025. Do you recall that?
Yes.
That's a letter he wrote to you, correct?
He wrote to the city, yes.
Well, it says to Montanez McMillian, zoning officer, City of York.
Yes,
And it
it's
says,
to me,
Dear
but
Montanez.
because of what was going on, I have a team that I had to report it to, so
And-
yes, it came to me.
And fair to say, this is his proposal to resolve the matter, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you acknowledge this formally in any way?
Yes.
You did? How?
It was all the terms under the letter that he sent was all the terms that we agreed to in the meeting when we had upstairs in the building. And everything that had to be followed and everything like that. Everything that was worked out, that's what was in the letter.
And so you said this was agreed to in a meeting.
Yeah, they had to work it out. Some of the stuff you're asking, I wasn't in every meeting and everything like that, but the meeting that I was in, that's what the terms that came out of, and that's what we had to go off of. And they sent me to do the inspections and everything to make sure she was following all the rules that we agreed to.
But you'd agree as the zoning officer of the city that the language of the zoning ordinance as adopted by the city council is what governs, not a private meeting to talk terms, right?
Yep.
Okay. And in any event, none of this, in either of these two letters that have just been offered, none of this is in the four corners of Exhibit 1, which is your determination. Is that correct?
And what determination were you talking about?
Exhibit 1, your zoning officer determination that we're being appealed tonight. The one we just talked at some length about. Exhibit 1.
No, everything wouldn't be in this.
So you agree, none of this about the length of stay, the relationship of the party, the number of people, none of it's in your determination, correct?
No, it doesn't go. Our determination, the only thing we put in our determination is what they're going for and the code. That's what his only determination actually has in it. So if they're going for any kind of, if they want to do rooming house, we put our little section, then we put the address, rooming house, and the code right below with all the requirements that code requires.
Well, and that's helpful because if you'll refer to Exhibit 2, do you recognize that document in your packet marked Exhibit 2?
Yes,
And what is this?
this is his only determination.
Correct. And are you looking at the document? We have Exhibit 2 is comprised of both the request, would you agree, and then your determination, right?
Yes,
And in your determination of February 4, you list facts and cite the ordinance, right?
yes.
Okay, but you'll agree you listed no facts
Hold on,
and
I know,
cited
I'm
to
not-
no
I don't-
ordinance in
I'm not
Exhibit 1.
saying I'm listing facts. If you look at the determination letter, it says a little bit briefly what the city, their ordinance says. And then it says that it's not permitted in need of variance because she was going for a rooming house. But once all that went through and then, I guess her lawyer contacted our lawyer, that's when it was overruled. Because they found a little caveat or whatever in our ordinance that stated she didn't have over more than 3 roommates. So if she didn't have over more than 3 roommates, I couldn't put her under a rooming house.
Not asking you anything close to that. I'm asking you,
Understand
you
your
see
question.
your letter of February 4th in Exhibit 2.
Yes,
Would you agree with me, as I think you just did, there are both facts and references to the York City zoning ordinance in that 2-page determination?
yes, there's reference, yep.
And would you agree that in Exhibit 1, your determinations, which is being appealed, there are no facts and there are no references to any provision of this York City zoning ordinance?
No, there wasn't no facts or anything in this.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
It's a fucking email, dog.
To follow up. Mr. McMillian,
Yes,
what's the date of Exhibit 2 for the zoning determination?
February 4th, 2025.
And attached to that is a bunch of information about property locations, so on and so forth, as a part of Exhibit 2. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. After February of 2025, did the facts change as to what was going on in this residence?
yes,
Okay. Now, when you issued your notice of violation in July of 2025, and I responded,
yes,
you considered that to be the property to be in compliance. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. So while you didn't formally acknowledge that, did you file a follow-up? Did you file a citation with the MDJ's office?
no, I did not.
Why not?
Because when we went back to do the inspection, everything was what it was supposed to be. So she passed inspection and she got issued her license to have tenant occupied.
So after we sent the letter and after you did the inspection, you considered the property to be in compliance with the zoning ordinance at that time?
Yes,
Okay. Now, do you remember or recall when the Springdale Neighborhood Association filed their appeal to the zoning determination?
where's that?
I can help you if you want.
Yeah, can you help me with
Is
that?
it September 22nd, 2025?
I believe it was somewhere around there. I'm not actually sure.
So let me ask you a question. Does York City zoning ordinance have an appeal period?
Yes,
The appeal zoning determinations?
yes,
So they're appealing a February 4th, 2025 zoning determination, and it's September 22nd, 2025. Is that within or outside of the zoning period, or the appeal period for a zoning determination?
Normally when somebody appeals, they have, when they formally put the paperwork in, they have 30 days to go.
30
in front of the
days,
board.
okay. So if it was filed in February of 2025, September of 2025 is more than 30 days after the zoning determination.
Correct.
Thank you.
I would ask at this point if there are any unrepresented parties who wish to ask questions of Mr. McMillian. And then I would turn it over to the parties for their cases in chief. Seeing none, then I think I would turn it over to Mr. Naylor for his case in chief.
And the good news for everybody waiting for their case to come up, that was largely our case in chief. So we just have one, I think, very swift witness, Heather Leindecker. If you want to. And I just have a handful of questions. If it's okay, we'll just stand here and do a Q&A.
Sure.
Ms. Leindecker, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Heather Leindecker, Leindecker, and I live at 174 Marion Road.
And Ms. Leindecker, the appellant here tonight is the Springdale Neighborhood Association. Could you describe for the board generally the Springdale neighborhood?
The neighborhood is unique in that every house is different, not like modern neighborhoods. The homes were built, I think it's 60% of them were built from 1939 and earlier. Tree-lined streets, well-kept, friendly neighbors. We have many residents or owners, who grew up here, moved away, and then came back to York and bought in the Springdale neighborhood. They have their children living in the neighborhood so they can see their grandkids. It's almost like going back in time or watching a movie where neighbors wave to each other, they help one another. We have an annual block party. It's friendly and it's quiet and it's unique. And we're also on the National Register of Historic Places.
Ms. Leindecker, you talked about the Springdale neighborhood. Could you describe what the Springdale Neighborhood Association is?
The Springdale Neighborhood Association, or the SNA, was formed in 1977 when the city proposed to change the entirety of Springettsbury Avenue, into commercial and office spaces. So the neighbors got together, formed this association. It's not like an HOA where, we give infractions for having long grass or anything like that. The purpose of the association is to preserve the RS1 status of the neighborhood, which would be single-family dwellings.
And Ms. Leindecker, who are the members of the association?
We have our president, Paul Deller, back here. In 2025, I was the secretary. I'm now the vice president. We have a treasurer. We have a landscape membership person. We have membership committee. We have a social committee because we do annual Christmas parties, et cetera.
And then my final question for you at the time is, what is the association's interest in this matter here tonight?
Our interest is, again, why our organization was formed, and it's to preserve the RS1 status of our neighborhood. I'm going to give a little personal. My husband and I were both raised military brats, and my husband then served 26 years in the Army. We've lived all over the country and abroad. When he originally retired in 2018, we moved to San Antonio, Texas. That's where the job was. And our parents are all on the East Coast, and after COVID and all of that, we decided we wanted to be closer to family. We liked South Central Pennsylvania. We spent about 18 months looking for homes and neighborhoods that fit what we wanted, and we chose Springdale and York. And we moved here because we want to be part of the city, and we liked the beauty, the character of the Springdale neighborhood. We drove through. We actually met people with that the first time we drove through, and everybody was friendly and welcoming, and it's a family-oriented neighborhood, and that's what we wanted, so we chose here.
And I'm sorry, could you spell your last name again for me?
Of course, it's Leien, as in Nancy, Decker.
Got it. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I just have
One or two questions. Ms. Steindecker, I assume you've driven by this house in the last couple weeks, months, whatever. Does this property appear to be anything but a single-family residence that you moved into the neighborhood for in whatever timeframe you moved in?
Nothing on the outside.
Okay, it's well-kept,
It is.
it's maintained,
As far as I know,
has
I've never
off-street
been
parking,
inside.
has off-street parking?
I know there's one garage, but there are often cars parked on Duke Street.
Are there cars parked on Duke Street and other parts of the neighborhood?
Further down,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. All right. All right, that's all the questions I have.
I'm sorry?
I was going to
Yeah,
ask.
yeah, if the board has any questions, obviously, feel free to.
We have none.
Okay.
And then, I guess a point of housekeeping, Dave's one, or do you have a case to put on, or?
I have a couple things to say.
Okay. Well, I guess I don't know how to do this with this tripartite. I mean, I have a closing brief, believe me, just on the legal points. I'd like the opportunity, but I also want to wait till the time is right. If there's others who want to speak or Dave wants to put a case on, so I'll defer on
Are you
that.
going to put any testimony on?
I don't believe so, I'm just the legal argument, so if you want to wait till I get on.
That's fine, yeah. I guess,
We also have that party opponent issue that folks might want to come up and seek party opponent and speak as well, so.
yeah, that's, well, yeah, actually, before we get into any closings, does anybody wish to offer their own testimony in this matter?
This will be very quick. My name is Mike Johnson. I live at 147 Marion Road, right down the road from Heather.
Excuse me.
Excuse me? Oh. The only thing I want to say tonight, first of all, I was in the same seats you all are in, and Franklin and I were reminiscing a little about this. I was on the zoning hearing board for 10 years, chaired it for quite a few years, and I know what you're going through. And so anyway, I'll make this quick. The thing, when I was on the board, we sort of prided ourselves on one thing, and that was their variances and their variances. Dimensional variance, an extra foot here or there, sometimes that can be justified.
I'm going to object to this as relevant to the proceedings. There's no variance being requested. Whether or not he was on the zoning hearing or not should have no bearing on the decision this evening.
I think I'd leave that up to the board to decide whether it has a bearing or not.
I would say let's stick to the matter at hand, please.
Excuse me?
I would ask you to stick to the matter at hand.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I think I'll sum up. The matter at hand, I think, is to take the zoning ordinance of the city of York, turn to the page that says RS1, look at what is allowed in RS1 without a variance or a special exception. You will not find, I think, what has been proposed or what you've heard this evening. You'll have to make that determination yourself. We're not asking for anything more. We got a great neighborhood, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about the zoning ordinance, and I'd ask you to apply that zoning ordinance strictly and do your job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Jean Buckingham. I live at 110 East Springettsbury Avenue, and I believe am I a party opponent? Am I supposed to note that? I'm
Do
sorry.
you have any objection to that, Mr. Jones?
I actually have no objection to anyone from the Neighborhood Association being part of it.
I assumed. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm just having trouble with all the time spent on the numbers of renters or persons living in the house currently, or what has been said that it's allowed. It's very clear in the ordinance. RS1 does not allow rooming houses, boarding houses, anything else. I looked through the ordinance for the number 3. It shows up for sure, but it's RS2. It is not RS1. So I think it's pretty clear cut what should be allowed, and I don't understand why an exception has been made for the owners of 101 when there was no public request for an exception that I, as an attached neighbor, was invited to. So I don't think there's a case. Thank you.
May I? Ms. Buckingham? Up here. Would you please? I only have one question. As I recall, at the Planning Commission, you said in almost exactly these words that this situation has been extremely difficult for you. And you talked about, and you said because you felt you had to be afraid to go across the street and shake the hands of the property owner?
I'm not sure if I used the word afraid. I'm not saying I didn't, because quite frankly, I don't remember what I say from one moment to the next. I am reluctant, I would definitely say that.
And that may be the word you used.
And I'm sure I added that I do not like to live that way.
But that troubled me, because I thought, I hope you were not threatened with violence or anything.
No, and I'm sorry if I gave that impression. There was not a recorder here, I don't believe, at the Planning Commission, so I can't say exactly what I said. Maybe somebody who was there heard me, but if I used a word like that, it would have been more in the nature of being reluctant, because there was this feeling of betrayal.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I actually got the question from Mrs. Buckingham. Are there raucous parties at this parcel property?
No.
Are there people coming and going at all times of night?
No.
Are you seeing any untoward behavior to yourself or to your neighbors from this property?
Absolutely not. And
Okay,
that,
thank you, that's all.
I think that I should be able to respond to the suggestion. In my statement at the Planning Commission, I gave a little bit of my background, which was for 23 years we lived on West Springettsbury Avenue, which pretty rapidly turned into rentals and fraternity parties. And when we approached the mayor at that time for some enforcement of the codes, it never happened. So for me, it's a slippery slope. What I learned is that once an exception is granted, then you have nothing to prevent the next exception, and so on and so on. And I perceive this request as an exception, which is not allowed in the current zoning. And as far as I know, an exception was not asked for.
And I would agree with you, the exception was not asked for. And you're concerned this happened again, but didn't the Springdale Neighborhood Association go to Borough Council and have a change made to the zoning ordinance so this never happens again?
That change did not affect the numbers.
It affected this property, this didn't affect this property, but it affected the numbers in the ordinance going forward, did it not?
No, it did not.
It did not, okay, thank you.
Anybody else in the audience?
Hello, my name is Tom Hall. I live at 176 Marion Road in Springettsbury, in Springdale. And I'm having a hard time here. If this is a zoning area 1, why in the hell are we talking about this, since it has been brought up that this idea of allowing people other than single-family homes dwellers is not permitted in the area under your code. What's the big hangup? You know, they made some pretty obfuscating arguments here, but basically you get back to one point, and that is, if this is indeed RS1, then why don't you follow the directions for what RS1 requires? You know, I can say a lot more, but that's the crux issue here. And that's the one that I think that the zoning board is required by its own rules to acknowledge and to follow what they're supposed to do. You know what's right. We don't have to tell you what's right. You have it in print. It's right there. Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience? Okay, then Mr. Jones.
I just have a few points this evening. A lot of people have talked about what's in your ordinance. And Mr. Naylor talked about the four corners of the determination that was issued February 4th, 2025. They didn't file an appeal until September of 2025, and your code says you have a 30-day appeal period from a zoning determination. They failed to meet that. So if we're going to go by that argument, do what you're supposed to do. That's what the code says. Okay? Second, there is a definition of rooming house in your ordinance, and it provides, it defines a roomer or lodge or a person occupying any room or group of rooms forming a single habitable unit used or intended to be used for living and sleeping, but not for cooking and eating purposes or paying compensation for that room. And the definition of rooming house says more than 3 roomers in a home and has kitchen and eating amenities in each bedroom, separate from the others. That's not our situation. We talked, we reviewed, we went to the zoning officer and the city every step of the way. Yes, things happened in February. We worked on that. We came back and we did some work in July. My client spent $200,000 to renovate a $450,000 property. She doesn't want to see it go to hell either. But she checked with the city, and the city said, if you do these things, we talked about it, we memorialized it, and if it's not on the record, we are happy if this zoning hearing board would like to put those as stipulations to this use. We are more than comfortable with that, and I will give you a copy of that letter to everybody so you have it in hand. There's also a premise in the municipality's planning code that where there's a doubt or an ambiguity in the zoning ordinance as to a restriction, it is to be rectified in favor of the lesser restriction to the benefit of the property owner. And I believe we have that situation. And that's what the zoning officer and the codes office and the solicitor did. They looked at this and said, well, it's not a rooming house because there's less than 3 roomers. They don't have a kitchen or bathroom in every room, and they made a determination, which is within the power of the zoning officer. There was no special exception filed. You're absolutely correct, because we didn't need one. We went to the zoning officer. We went to the solicitor, and they said, you can do this. And I believe Mr. Naylor is going to give you a memorandum of law to take under consideration. In that case, he cites to a couple of cases, or in that memo, he cites to a couple of cases. One's an Albert and one's a Slice of Life. And under the Albert case, it involved a halfway house. Folks, this is not a halfway house. In fact, my client is a traveling nurse who lives in York and works at the York Hospital. She rents to similar like people. The average length of stay is 6 months under a lease. It is not 30 days. 30 days is a minimum. In one circumstance, she had someone that only stayed for 6 weeks because they had to leave or their contract expired, or whatever the case may be. But the average length of stay is 6 months. I dare say that you have plenty of renters in the RS1 district that stay for only 6 months. And with regard to the slice of life case, the slice of life case had to do with VRBOs and Airbnbs in the northwestern eastern part of the state. Those rentals were for 2 to 5 days at a time, at a maximum. And those properties were not occupied by the property owner. So there's a very different circumstance here. Now, if the board is going to take under consideration Mr. Naylor's memorandum of law, I would like the opportunity to respond to that memorandum in a short period of time following this evening's meeting, this hearing. And with that, the only other thing I wanted to add, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is actually considering what's known as the Golden Girls legislation. And I think that its guidance in its memorandum, where it was introduced to the House, is actually very insightful. It says, quote, "Our legislation would prevent arbitrary limits on unrelated roommates, except where true health and safety standards apply. The effect of this legislation will expand housing options, help people afford to stay in their communities, and modernize housing policies. Other states like Iowa and Colorado have already moved in this direction. We respectfully ask for your support so more Pennsylvanians can share a home, support one another, and know they truly have a friend in Pennsylvania." I know we're not there yet, but it looks like we're going that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I respond to Mr. That legislation only has one impediment, and that is it only has one Republican sponsor among the 17 or 18 sponsors. We'll see. I personally would like some discussion about the effects of the zoning ordinance on a little bit less emotional form than to have people say, "You mean you'd throw out Blanche or Dorothy's mother?" I mean, you know, who could? But that story, that was a story. That wasn't real life like in Springdale.
May I also make a comment?
Yes.
Was that just the co-sponsorship memo, or has the legislation been introduced?
Sponsor membership.
Has the bill been introduced yet?
I believe it has. I don't believe it's going anywhere. And full disclosure, I just read that because I think it's a poignant statement about this issue.
Understood. Thank you.
Andy.
Mr. Naylor, you ready? Yep. All right.
All right, well, I do appreciate the board's attention and consideration. I do, and I'm reluctant to even have to do this. It's just a complete misstatement, contortion to argue lack of timeliness. So our Exhibit 1, numbered as such for its importance, is the determination we're appealing. August 26, 2025. The prior determination from February of last year was only brought up for 2 points. Number one, it was a proposal that was deemed not applicable, not permissible. It's a rooming house. So it shows the history here. This property, this owner, was deemed to be an impermissible rooming house. That was the purpose. Number two, Mr. McMillion's determination in that case was very specific on facts and law, unlike the determination here. So just to be painfully clear, the determination that's on the agenda that's being heard is from August 26, 2025, which we went at length through. So any notion that we're time barred for a year and a half appealing a determination requested by his client from a year and a half ago is just a total, I don't know where that even came from. So I'll be quick. I mean, a lot of this stuff is I work in the law. I would never make it in politics. I'm not a very likable person. I go by the rule of law. That's all I can do. And Ms. Lineback is holding the city zoning ordinance. It's a big book. The council has spent probably hours and untold committees, and you put the rules of the road. And this is not permitted. It just isn't. It might be a good idea. These might be lovely people, a laudable goal to provide, what a compelling story. Short-term rentals for our first-line responders post-COVID era, all brilliant. Take it to city council. The fact we have to dig so deep into the bag to pull out proposed legislation, which by implication means it's not the law, just shows just trying to grasp at something, anything to avoid the ordinance. Because the ordinance, if you just want to go by the ordinance, this is the easy button. Again, is this a good idea? Maybe. I mean, this board doesn't sit to decide good ideas. It sits as a judge to apply the law to the facts. The zoning ordinance determination is devoid of any facts. It can't be enforced. Mr. McMillian testified 2 roommates. I can't find the definition of roommates in your zoning ordinance. I don't know where he found it. We just learned tonight for the first time, although his determination says 2 roommates are okay, he testified that one of those roommates, as referenced in his determination, was Ms. Jones-Harris. But then we heard testimony that, well, there's actually a second roommate for a total of 3 roommates. Pile on top of that, this property isn't owned by the human being, Ms. Jones-Harris. It's owned by an LLC. What if there's 20 members of the LLC? Do we have 23 people living there? I mean, and all this back and forth. We heard that there are letter campaigns and meetings with stakeholders. That's not how zoning ordinances work. By definition, that was their proposal to make this work. The proposal, are you guys okay with these terms? No, it doesn't work that way. It works based on the language of the ordinance, the rule book. So all this stuff that was, a letter from Mr. Jones's law firm, a letter from the city solicitor saying, what about this? What about that? It's just a dead letter. It's just not in the rule book that we're supposed to be following. I think this board is duty bound to sustain our appeal on both legal, factual, and procedural bases to find not that Mr. McMillian was wrong, not to find he's not a great zoning officer, but to simply find that a cursory statement, a blank check that 2 roommates comports with the zoning ordinance is okay, is just legally insufficient as a matter of law. Again, not policy. If Mr. Jones and his client want to come and tell a compelling story, the impact of this, and I understand that we're tied to this property, but the slice of life case that Mr. Jones referenced, that's in your memo that I provided, knowing this meeting was going to occur, so I had it present and available and ready for this, speaks very loud and clear. A single family is a single family. It's a single housekeeping unit. If his proposal is allowed to stand, if this conjured up definition of roommates and 30-day plus rentals is allowed to stand, you've essentially opened the floodgates to allow Airbnbs throughout the city, and you're going to have no one to blame but the results of this case. In conclusion, Exhibit 3 in your packet is what I'll represent to you to be a publicly available advertisement for this property, to anybody that can call the number and pay the bill to come stay at this property for who knows how long. It reads like, well, an Airbnb VRBO ad, and it's just not permitted in the RS1 district. I appreciate the board's time and attention. I know it's probably gonna be a late night. I really request this board and feel it's legally bound to uphold, sustain our appeal, and vacate the zoning officer determination. Thank you.
And if I may, I apologize. I was gonna pass this letter out. And I would just note that it specifically says Ms. Jones-Harris, not any one of the 20 LLC members who may or may not be a party to the LLC.
Are there any questions from the board for any of the parties?
I was going to actually disguise a comment or two in the form of a question to one or either of the attorneys. Can we just begin deliberating at some point?
Andy?
Do both the parties agree that, I'm sorry, that the evidence is closed and the cases are closed? Are you all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I have one question before you say everything's closed. The advertisement that is for this place, is that still online? And when it was advertised, when was that? Approximately 2025? Since it'd be nice to not have a date attached to this since it's an Exhibit 3. And I don't see anything on it and can't really tell when it was advertised.
It is not currently it's not currently active.
It can be found on Facebook Marketplace. Owners in Springdale look at it occasionally, and it has not been taken down there. It is publicly available.
Are we still having any comments? Did we not close that part of it?
Someone,
My client indicates it's no longer active from her end, so its appearing is by default.
someone in the back
I
corner.
know, but did we not close that part?
I think the parties have closed, but I note that there's somebody that has a hand up in the back.
You gotta come forward and say your name, please.
Neither of the parties have any objection to, offhand, till we hear who she is and what she has to say.
My name is Carol Hall, and I live at 176 Marion Road. My comment kind of backs what my husband said. However, I do need to add one little anecdote, and that is that the original owners of that house firmly told her that this was an RS1 and she could not open a VBRO, anything like that. She knew from the get-go. All of a sudden, the RS1 disappeared. And the next thing you know, this is appearing in Facebook, it's appearing at the hospital on a bulletin board. Nobody's saying the idea is a bad idea. What we're saying as a resident of an RS1 is that this is not acceptable. And again, she knew. I can't help it, she spent $200,000 to renovate this. She did it knowing that it was an RS1 and this was not acceptable. It seems as though all of a sudden, by some miraculous miracle, somebody came up with the idea that 3 people, 2 people, whatever, was acceptable in an RS1. Thank you.
I'd like to respond. First, I'd object to the hearsay of what the owner may or may not have told her.
So,
The owner's not here to testify, ma'am.
Excuse me, direct everything up here, please.
The zoning hearing board is not.
We heard you, ma'am.
The zoning hearing board is not subject to strict rules of evidence. I would suggest to you that you can take that and consider it. Mr. Jones can certainly argue its weight, given the fact that the woman is not here to testify who allegedly said that.
The second thing I'd like to point out is, while it's an RS1 district, this has not been approved as a rooming house. There's nowhere in the city documents that it says a rooming house is approved. It says they're allowed to have a single-family residence, which is in fact permitted in an RS1 zoning district. There seems to be a lot of confusion about this. It's not qualified as a rooming house. It's not been characterized that way. It has been called a single-family residence where the property owner may have 2 roommates. I want that crystal clear for the record. Thank you.
testimony has now essentially been closed. Although we typically deliberate here tonight, I note that Mr. Jones has asked for the opportunity to present a memo. It would be my recommendation, this is subject to the board's decision, of course, it would be my recommendation that we hold off deliberation until Mr. Jones has been able to provide that memorandum to the board. The MPC certainly allows the time until next meeting to make a decision, and so it would be my recommendation that we hold that off until next month. Also considering we do have a long agenda in front of us.
I guess I just place objection. I mean, the date and time of this hearing has been known. I don't have a special skill that enabled me to know that you might want to consider some documents.
I'll waive my right to submit an amendment. How that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
We'll waive our right to file our memorandum. I addressed the points in my argument this evening. If you want to wait till next time, have a deliberation. I don't need time to file a memorandum. I think we addressed the points.
It's up to the board. The board can deliberate it here in open session. Of course, the board is free to recess to executive session as well to deliberate. And certainly if the board has any questions of me, we can recess to executive session as well, or you can ask those questions of me here.
Board?
I don't think I'm comfortable making a decision tonight. I don't know that we need to push it off to another month, but I would defer to the majority.
You?
I was gonna say defer till next time, that we'd have a discussion since we have such a long agenda. That's my point.
Okay. You?
Nick was in favor of going all the way with it this evening.
No, he would like to continue.
But I don't have
The
any
first-
I don't have any objection
Yeah.
of continuing the meeting.
He has no objection.
I don't either, because we have some material that has just been presented this evening, and I would. It doesn't necessarily have to lead us into full deliberation, but we were told, the Planning Commission was told by two former members of this board that this would be one of the easiest decisions that could ever come before us. I found that that's not quite true. I want you to keep in mind, folks, that all the members of this board took an oath. And I know you would be happy to hear that the oath was to defend the zoning ordinance as written in its most rigid interpretation, but that's not the oath. Pursuant to Article 6, Section 3 of the Constitution of Pennsylvania, the oath that we all swore to or affirmed was that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. And the zoning ordinance gives us not only the power, but the duty to identify cases that are worthy of variances or special exceptions. We try to do so judiciously. The one thing that I was going to try to get, frankly, Attorney Naylor to agree with me on was that the strict application of the zoning ordinance does tend to create, in my view, two very different classes of people. Single, traditional family units and everybody else. And the everybody else's are not treated anywhere like the traditional family units. Now, the effects of that discrimination were lessened somewhat in 2014 and 2015 with the Obergefell decision extending equal marriage rights to same-sex couples. Prior to then, the discrimination was, the treatment was even more disparate. And I cannot quite share the view that the quality of life in an RS2 district, well, when I heard that people were so upset about nurses living in the neighborhood, I said, at the age and condition I have reached, I would love to have some nurses next door to me or across the street from me. I would. So I just, all the restrictions that apply, I have no problem with, except I don't feel comfortable with the unequal and unfair treatment, not on the basis of conduct, not on the basis of ability to pay, not on any legitimate concern, but simply on the relationship status of the people involved. I'm notorious for being able to belabor a point. I think I've made mine. I think maybe I would favor continuing when there's less additional cases here, but if we're not going to continue it, then I need a brief recess.
With that being said, we've been given a lot of information tonight, so I make a motion that we will table this until next month to give us more time to process what was presented to us here today, and that we would be better focused on giving the proper answer.
I second that.
The vote for us to continue until next month was presented by President Cena, and it was seconded by Vice President Nick Holman. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
No.
Nick?
Aye.
Franklin?
Aye.
Cena, aye. The ayes have it.
So we'll be back next month for a decision.
Can I ask one question, please? You're gonna deliberate,
Still in
right?
off the record.
Yeah, sir, what, sir?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Joe Haberly, 147 Springdale Road. I just wondered, sitting back there, when you make this decision, some kind of a decision, 5 people, right? Adam's already, he's out. Is it 5, right? Is it, if it's, how do you vote? 3-2, 5-0, has to be 5-0?
No, it has to be a majority.
Okay. And you'll have some kind of a, once that decision is made, you'll have a reason of why you made that decision?
So, within 45 days of the decision, I have to issue what are called written findings of fact and conclusions of law, which will set forth the basis, the legal basis for the decision.
Okay, all right, thanks.
We're going to take a brief recess so you can take care of yourselves. No matter what they're describing is an age code. That is what they're describing. HOA. You got it. Rules.
In New York, PA, RS1 stands for Residential Single Family Low Density District. The primary purpose of the zoning classification is to maintain a quiet zone.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Of the existing neighborhood. By restricting.
Always fun. I don't know if you remember last time we had one that's like this. We went to like third hour. You were at the end of the agenda, and I was supposed to be up the next morning for like 5:30 flight or something like that. It was brutal. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
How are you right the fire?
And I will reiterate
What is
that
a house?
to them.
It sounds like as long as you keep your house up, there's a housekeeping unit. It doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
Accessory use.
I'll reiterate that nothing about extension is being discussed outside of either of this. Yeah. Thanks, sir. I like that, Jack.
Child care may be permitted provided they don't need. Everything you're allowed. It's approved. The city already approved this. That's become a mistake. We'll just talk about what RS1
Do I understand from your comments that you would believe that?
Sir, we can't discuss anything off the record. Okay, this has to be discussed here in the open session. Mr. Williams, you're not permitted to talk about this case off the record with anybody. It has to be in the hearing, sorry.
I'm in the phone book. R. Franklin Williams, 528 West Market Street. I can hear and discuss anything with anyone, but not until here do I decide, make my final decision. Nothing I said, you know, nothing I said this evening should be taken to indicate how I would have voted.
Franklin, I came up to say hello to you.
Oh, Jane, for goodness sake.
Yes.
You don't look a day older. You look 3 years older. No, I'm kidding.
Sir, Franklin and I have known each other since we rode our dinosaurs together.
Since we what?
Rode our dinosaurs together.
Oh. Yeah.
Now, ma'am, young lady, now I'm giving you an idea how old we are. I said Franklin and I have known each other since we rode our dinosaurs together.
Oh, wow.
No, I know Frank for a long time, when he used to help up at Miles Market.
And you brought your own trucks in there.
I brought my Jeep in there.
I just wanted to say hi. How you doing today?
Thank you.
Seeing you.
Yes. And Franklin used to love driving my Jeep.
I did?
Yeah. Frank, come here. Remember you told me because all the young hotties.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's like $200, you know, try to, if you win, move on, you know? Yeah, I tried out for the US Open. That's on your resume, you're happy, just show up and I played the Open 1 year. Lost pathetically. Doesn't ever take it seriously. And he had the right dad. I was willing to pay for lessons, clubs. He wasn't willing to go into dedication. Wanted to have more fun at school. Yeah. Work. I regret it. Yeah, me too. Way later. Way later. And it tells with me. It's like swings I believe. I wish I would have started. You guys got the people like 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, right. Why am I not golf? Yeah, right. And our school wasn't quoted golf. Golfers back then. Yeah, I don't think it was when I was in. Yeah, I got a lot of shit nights on it. Now they're all golf. Like, what are you doing this weekend? What are you doing? It'd be like a YouTube. It'd be like a month. That's it. I'm gonna follow this up. I'm gonna be here next month. Oh, they get verbal. Did you hear that? They're trying to like my backyard. Giant center suckers and who got dead friends and stuff. This one guy, I was at the school. State troopers are like standing right here. Just keep that all on. Dude, it's a wild thing. Yeah. Repetitiveness. Oh, yeah. And like people are resigning. It's just too much pressure for that. Because if they vote wrong, they're out. I must have figured out how to put it on the moon and we're all shoot it into space. That's what Westbrook's going through. That's where I graduated from. And now they got the whole slogan, teachers are preferred. So they're going to have a next fun hearing their next one. Well, they are doing a huge stadium over there. And yeah, they're putting stuff in, redoing the whole stadium. Well, then they just so now people are taking exception, knowing that one is given to the other one, but they don't see it that way. They just now they can adopt the slogan, teachers prefer, you know, so just to the so that I'll imagine they'll sit there and listen to everything. I said my piece, and this one lady like immediately motioned to me for it. We can still figure this out. And you know, other things we have to look at. Like, no, I won't be excited. Yeah, right. At least the real thing on the night, I gotta watch them movies. I hate it, Joe. On record so far, personally. The last one I went to was the.
Search for this person, please read in the next case. Okay.
The next case is a continuation from last month. This is case number 14-2026-Z-B. As a reminder, the applicant and owner of, am I right that this is the holdover? Am I right that this is the holdover? Is this the holdover? Yes. Yes. The applicant and subject, the owner of subject, let me start. The applicant and owner of the subject property is Laro Perez of 532 North Weaver Street. which addresses also the address of the subject property and is located in the RS2, I think, single-family attached residential conservation district of the city of York. Applicant seeks several variances to permit the subject property to be used as a rooming house. First, the applicant seeks a variance to permit rooms to be smaller than the required 250 feet in size. The applicant also seeks a variance to reduce the number of required parking spaces from 4 off-street parking spaces from 4 to 2. Finally, the applicant seeks a variance to permit a rooming house, a use not permitted by right or by special exception in the RS2 zone. The application was reviewed by the planning staff of the city of York. The planning staff recommends that the zoning hearing board deny the requested variances. The case was heard by the city of York Planning Commission. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the requested variances. The record before the board this evening consists of the application itself, an aerial view of the subject property, the deed of the subject property, floor plans of the subject property, and 4 pages of photos of the property.
I believe what we were waiting for last time was the dimensional information for the inside of the home.
That's correct.
And we have that right here. I don't know if you guys took a look, but it looks like those rooms are pretty well sized. I'm seeing a 14 by 12, right? They're massive.
Well, there's 2 rooms, room 2 and room 4, that are at 208 square feet, so a little less than the 250 rule. And,
Right.
and I think those, let me ask you a question, sir.
Yeah.
We did this last time, and I don't have my packet with me from your last visit, but tell me where rooms 2 and rooms 4 are
Yeah.
in your picture.
Yeah, room 2 and room 4, yes.
Are they on the 3rd floor, or are they on, which ones are on the 3rd floor? Well, that's
On
the question.
room 2, on 3rd floor is room 4.
2 and 4
No. Room 4 is on 3rd floor.
is on the 3rd floor.
Room 2 is on 2nd floor.
On the 2nd floor. What's the other room? Because the
Like
attic or the.
room 1, 2, and 3 is on 2nd floor, and room 4 and 5 is on 3rd floor.
Okay.
Oh, 4 and 5.
So 4 and 5, we thought last time were really tiny, but it's not. I mean, they're tinier because they have a little bit of eaves and stuff like that.
But they're really not tiny at
They're
all.
not tiny at all.
They are bigger.
Yeah.
Because that's the one we were talking about, maybe you could make it just one big room.
Yeah.
But at 208 and 208 on the other one, I'm not sure that's a big deal.
In case 14-2026-Z-V,
Is anybody here tonight? I know nobody was here last month. Is anybody here tonight for this case? Okay.
And before you read any more, how many, we only have on our list for tonight just 1 variance. Is there more than that? Because I thought I heard something about parking and some other
I had
things.
3 from last month,
Yeah.
but I have it pulled up on my.
Okay, so there's 3 variances that.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
y'all ruled, I thought y'all ruled on the first 2 and you just had to have him come back
That's-
for the room
I don't
sizes.
think we ruled on anything, we just asked them that.
My recollection was that there was no ruling at all.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
what
I
I
was.
thought.
All right.
So
Okay,
to
my-
be safe,
Be safe.
we probably want to rule on all of
Put it
them.
all on record.
Okay, so let's see here. In the case 14-2026-Z-V, I will move to approve a variance that each room be larger than 250 square feet as defined in section 1304.02-7.17.B1 at 532 North Beaver Street in the RS2 zoning district.
Second.
It has been moved to be approved by Adam and second by
Blade.
Blade, sorry. Calling for the vote, Lester,
Aye.
Blade,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Tina, aye.
And I'll move to approve a variance that there be 4 off-street parking spaces as defined in section 3. Is that how I want to say it?
I would make the motion that to reduce the required, to permit a variance to reduce the required number of off-street parking spaces from 4 to 2.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it was moved to be approved by Adam and second by Blaze. Calling for the vote, Lester,
Aye.
Blaze,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Tina, aye.
I'll move to approve a variance to allow a rooming house as defined in section 1304.02-7.17 at 532 North Beaver Street.
Second.
It's been moved to be approved by Adam and second by Blaze. Calling for the vote, Lester,
Aye.
Blaze,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Tina, aye.
Appreciate what you did with the place. Looks good.
Thanks for information.
The place looks beautiful inside. Thank you very much for the pictures. Good job.
The next case is case number 15-2026-Z-V. The applicant is Sean Cronister on behalf of First Presbyterian Church, the owner of the subject property having an address of 225 East Market Street, York, Pennsylvania. The subject property is located in the UN2 Urban Residential Neighborhood Zoning District of the City of York. Applicant seeks a variance to permit an illuminated sign, which sign is larger than that permitted by the zoning ordinance. The application was reviewed by the planning staff of the City of York. The planning staff recommends denial of the requested variance. The case was heard by the City of York Planning Commission, and by way of unanimous vote, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the requested variance. The record before the zoning hearing board consists of the application itself, an aerial view of the subject property, and 4 pages of photos of the property and the proposed sign.
Thank you. Yep, so I'll make this, short. Excuse me, Sean Cronister with STSG Digital. Thank you. So I'll make this really simple, common sense stuff here, what we're looking to do. The church, located on East Market Street, at the corner of Queen and Market, big frontage there. We're looking to install a 20 square foot digital sign. The ordinance allows for, in UN2, a 12 square foot sign. 12 square feet is very, very small to be able to, serve 2 frontages. And technically, if you wanted to include the alley on Mason, that is also a frontage as well. So we have 3 frontages that we're looking to serve, and we're asking for a very modest relief of the ordinance to increase to 20 square feet, a 3'2" by 6'4" sign. And we're able to go with, such an effective size, if you will, on account of it being a digital sign, which would require the second exception to the variance of illuminating the sign. The sign will also be made out of, the base of it will be made out of a brick material as to match the building of the church to fit in with the essentials of the neighborhood. But what makes this property unique compared to others, again, this isn't your standard residential, parcel. It's 1.5 acres. It sits on the corner, 3 frontages compared to neighboring properties. Most of the neighboring properties have a frontage of like 30 feet, 40 feet, we're up into the hundreds. We actually have 660 feet of frontage. And a lot of the township, codes and stuff like that we work in, a lot of the times the size determination is determined off of the frontage of the property. The bigger the frontage, the bigger the sign. To have a real small sign on a big frontage, it's hard to be seen. It gets washed into the background and everything else. So when us asking for an additional 8 square feet, and not to mention that this is also only a single-sided display. We're positioning the sign very uniquely, set it back here, so that way we're able to serve that whole intersection with the one sign to get the most out of it. So to make the best possible use of our, what we're working with. And In regards to, the hardships not created by us, can't change the size of the land, the frontage, the speed limits. The church also serves multiple uses. They have multiple ministries there, not just, Sunday service. They do all kind of outreach in the community, food drives, clothing drives. So this sign is going to be a very effective instrument for the community as well as the church. And in today's, modern technologies and things like that, everything is advancing. So this will, furthermore serve, the church as well as, keeping up with the times, if you will. These churches need to be able to keep up. There's unfortunately a lot of churches closing, losing members, and without that sign out front, nobody knows what the church is doing, except then you get into the case where the church is spending on putting all the banners up, and, then you get that whole kind of look going on, where this will be able to clean up that whole frontage and effectively be able to operate for the church and all the ministries involved in the church. In regards to, the character of the neighborhood, not ordering it, there are other existing digital signs as well as larger signs in 20 square feet in the UN2 zone. My company personally did Asbury Church about 8 years ago. That sign's about 35 square feet, serves a digital sign as well, and has been up and running now for over 8 years. They are also in the Harp District, as well as we are, which will be going there next week. They asked for their approval, if we get approved here, of course. So there is, precedent already set in the community, and it has proved it's been there for 8 years, and it hasn't been an issue. The sign is also going to be equipped with automatic light dimming sensors, so that way the sign's never going to be too bright at night. The sign is going to follow all zoning ordinances in regards to how the digital sign is operated, not flashing and all that kind of stuff. It's never going to create a glare on the road. It's not going to impair motorists. It's not going to, inadvertently, shine in people's windows and stuff like that on account of the dimming sensors, not letting the light project more than, 10 feet off the sign. And the sign is set back 16 feet from the gate of their property line. So then you have 16 feet back plus the sidewalk. So the sign is, very much set back, where it's really not one of them ones where it's going to be big and bold in your face, but, set back in a tasteful manner and built with the brick to go with the church. So it's going to be a very tasteful sign, moderate sized, and ran appropriately. Again, follow all the ordinances, and the sign's going to be able to serve all the ministries for the church. With that being said, I think I covered the main points of it. Could read my big statement, but I think, it's a common sense kind of thing that, it would do just well and fit in with the neighborhood. Any questions?
One comment.
Yes, sir.
I think I read also it's not animated, which for motorists is an issue. When you see animated things, they take the road, eyes off the road.
Sure.
So I believe that was also included in the package too.
Yes, correct. So part of the ordinance doesn't allow the signs to be animated. When you say a digital sign is animated, what that means is that the sign has moving parts on it. So this sign there'll be standstill slides that will change, every 20 seconds or so as far as the ordinance goes. And when they exit and enter the screen, they just go out. They won't be sliding off or fading out, or any special effects. These signs can be run any which way, you'd want to run them, but each individual client, church, business is responsible for running it, per their zoning ordinance. Again, we work in multiple different townships, and the ordinances for these signs are all over the place. Some townships allow you to play full-blown videos. Some townships allow you to change them every 5 seconds. Some allow you to change them every 5 minutes. There's really no rhyme or reason. It's kind of a safety thing, or a board thing. But at the end of the day, every motorist is responsible for, their car. As we all see, like the big truck that drives around with the digital sign on it while it's driving, that's legal. Because again, you're responsible for it. I have a fleet of portable signs that I could drive around with generators on them and run them and do all kind of stuff like that if we wanted to, and perfectly legal. So, again, but the main thing is that people aren't going to look out their windows or driving up the city of York, and it's not going to look like Vegas or anything like that. It's going to be a very tasteful image and a very tasteful base structure, all going to coincide with the church and the neighborhood.
Is there anyone here who is here specifically for this case and is opposed to the case? Okay, thank you.
So, do I understand you right, that when I go by there a couple times a day, I see the banners on the iron gate, on the iron railing, so those banners won't be there anymore?
No, this will allow them to combine all that into one sign.
And so okay, so we won't have those ugly banners out there anymore?
Nope.
We'll have that, and then with the existing sign is just, I guess, due north of that a little bit there. Will that be coming down, or will that be staying up?
That will be, I think they're looking to keep that there as a monument sign, if you will, since that sign has been there for many, many years.
Because that was a sign that I always liked that sign. I always thought it was comforting.
We're asking, to install this basically to keep up with the times and to be able to effectively communicate the church's message so that they're not left behind. I mean, again, there's other signs, and I don't want to point anybody out indirectly. We all live here in this area, 2 blocks that way, there's, whatnot. So, and this will be, good to serve as a people, not to mention, once the sign's installed, the church will provide a contact number or an email address to the city in case of emergency alerts. That way anybody can contact them and we can instantly put on emergency alerts or anything like that as well. So.
Thank you.
Yep, very welcome. Thank you.
I would say for a person, for a family member that lives in the same block as the church, I'm in favor of it, especially if you're getting rid of the banners that sometimes got ripped up and look pretty shabby.
Yep.
And you're also coming to the board the right way versus someone else down the street that has a huger sign that somebody mentioned, and I don't believe they got approval for it, they just put it up. So thank you for coming to the board with that. I think it's gonna be a neat sign. I think it'll, I was thinking about, since we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of our country, what the guy that signed the Declaration of Independence would think about, since he's buried in the cemetery inside there, but I'm throwing that as a joke. So, yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you guys very much for your understanding.
No other questions?
No. I'll do it first. I got it. For the case 15-2026-E-B, for the property, the church at 225 East Market Street, I move to approve variance for a sign size as defined in section 1308-08 for the property of UN2 zoning district.
I'll second.
It has been moved to be approved by Nick and second by Adam. Calling for the vote, Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sina, aye.
Move to approve a variance for a sign illumination as defined in section 1308-0.08 for the property at 225 East Market in the UN2 zoning district.
I'll second.
It's been moved to be approved by Nick and second by Adam. Calling for the vote, Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sina, aye.
Appreciate you.
Yep, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The next case is case number 16-2026-B-Z-B/SE. The owner and applicant is Juan Velato of 701 Wallace Street, which address is also the address of the subject property. The property is located in the UN2 Urban Residential Neighborhood Zoning District of the City of York. Applicant seeks several variances and a special exception to permit a multifamily dwelling in relation from a different use.
First, applicant seeks to vary the definition of multifamily dwelling conversion from a different use. The applicant also requests a variance from density requirements, parking requirements, impervious surface coverage requirements, and the requirement that the property not have been vacant for 2 years prior to the conversion. Finally, applicant seeks a special exception to permit a multifamily dwelling conversion from a different use. The application was reviewed by the planning staff of the City of York. Planning staff recommends denial of the requested variances and special exception. The case was heard by the City of York Planning Commission. By way of unanimous vote, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the requested variances and special exception. The record before the board this evening consists of the application itself, an August 29th, 2023 letter from the zoning officer McMillian, an aerial view of the property, the deed to the subject property, floor plans of the property, and 12 pages of photos of the property.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Juan Vilato, Vilato, 701 Wall Street, York, PA, 17403. Well, the plan is to build a bathroom in the backyard, demolish the old garage, and build a 2-car garage.
And when you say build a bathroom in the backyard, what does that mean?
I say, I'm sorry about my accent,
No, you're
whatever,
good.
but what I mean is a bathroom to sleep, because when I decide to divide the house in one single family, in 2 single family, there is no bathroom in the first floor where I live. Second and third floor, yes, there are 3 bathrooms, 1 bath, 1 kitchen, and a living room. In the first floor, I have my living room, kitchen and dining room, the backyard, and the garage. It's no bathroom. Just to make it clear, I have a sofa bed on the living room where I sleep. Now, I have my children every 3 weeks, and there is no room for them. So I am in the necessity to build a bathroom for my kids when they come to stay the weekends with me. That's my necessity.
Okay, am I understanding that this is already separated into 2 units?
Yes, not knowing the regulation of the city, I decide to make it on my own and contract Fuentes Property Management. They installed an electric meter. They built step ladder to the 2nd floor on the outside. And when I received the letter that I was supposed to get permission from the city, that's when I became like, oh, what I done? But it was already done. You can see on the picture on the 2nd floor, the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room, and the main bathroom. And the 3rd floor, you can also see the 2 bedrooms.
So it's officially licensed right now as 2 units?
No, he can't get a license. That's why when he received that letter, he had to stop everything and come through this process to get approved for him to move forward to do everything that he needs to do.
Okay.
Monty, can you give us a little insight on sort of what how you guys came into it and all?
I guess, I don't know if they was doing the work or the work had just got finished, but one of the inspectors in that area seen it and everything, looked it up and noticed it was supposed to be a single family, and then that's when they reached out to contact him to figure it out, and then being that he didn't know anything now, then we just try to get him to do everything the right way so he can have it legally done.
Thank you.
I would like to add,
The conversion actually has already been done.
Yes.
and maybe I would like to add that the second and third floor is rent to the city of York. Housing Authority is rented to it. They pay for the tenants, and I pay taxes on the income year by year. So it is rented to the city of York. How it happened, I don't even know. They inspected, it was inspection pass, everything is good. Here I am trying to get a license to be.
You're saying the second floor is rented?
Yes, second and third to a single family.
All right, and that has everything it needs, but in your unit, you don't have a bath.
I don't have a bathroom to sleep. I had a bathroom, yes. And it's a nice one. If you look at the pictures, you will figure it out.
So the plan is to build a bedroom. You have not built a bedroom on the first floor yet?
No, I'm looking for permission. Now I got the knowledge that I need permits for everything, so that's why I'm here tonight.
Right now you're sleeping on a couch.
Yes.
How many parking spaces are you able to provide?
Well, that's why I want to build a garage for 2 vehicles. One for me, one for the tenant. Even that I mentioned in the last week that I was here that I own 2 vehicles. When I realized that I need a parking space because they don't have vehicle, but now they do. So I spoke to my brother who lives on East Poplar Street. He got 4 parking garage. He told me, brother, you can bring one and leave it in here because I only drive one. But when I need to drive the one that is always in the garage, in case that I needed to go to work because I work 1 hour away from here. I work Irish Town. I work for David Tree Service. It's a huge company, and we serve the community. We work closely for Mered. We clearance the power line. We trim the trees over the power line. Whenever there is any kind of storm, we can be called at any time, and we have to go and help the community removing the trees from the power line so the people can have the service right away back.
So building this room,
Yes.
will there be any yard left?
No, ma'am.
You're taking up the whole yard?
The garage will be attached, in that case, to the house. It will be no backyard, which I don't need it.
Anybody else have any questions?
I got a question on Captain Monty. One of the requirements is that the redevelopment authority of the city of York must provide a letter of recommendation for the building's use to be converted to its purpose. I don't see that.
Yeah, I didn't get that letter. I can get that letter tomorrow. Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Oh, I thought you said something.
I'd like to say something, if I may. I have rental properties, and I'm sorry, Chad Eisenhart. So I have rental properties, and when I would have a single-family house, I would love to convert it to a 2-unit or 4-unit or whatever, because I'm going to make more money. But I know that I have to go certain steps. And I've come to take a single-family to a 2-unit, and I had 4 off-street park, or was able to provide 4 off-street parking spaces. I think it was a 2-unit before, but I was rejected. So just because he didn't know the steps, and he clearly, I mean, I'm under the impression that you need to have like 1.5 parking spaces per unit, and you should follow the steps. And so just because he converted it, I mean, that opens it to every other landlord, at least come here through one time and claim, I didn't know the rules.
Where do you live, sir?
45 East King Street.
Jane?
Jane Stanball, 129 North Penn Street. I speak again on the parking issue. I really, I don't have a lot of hopes for this whole issue. The gentleman, I believe he stated at the Planning Commission meeting, I believe I overheard a comment that he was doing this because he was in financial straits or something like that. That is no excuse. I have been a landlord. I have now celebrated my 33rd anniversary as a landlord. I own multiple properties in the city of York. I object to someone just going ahead and taking a single family property because they want to they think they're going to make a couple extra dollars and turning it into a 2-unit or however many unit they have. I don't understand the financial feasibility of this. Like I said, I celebrated my 33rd anniversary. Renovating properties is expensive. It can be very costly, as Mr. Eisenhart knows, as every other landlord knows who does it properly. Now, anyone can do a shoddy job for a little bit of nothing. But I have been trying to improve my properties. I try to improve my properties every time I get a vacancy. I have been doing the work in those properties, and at my age and my health issues, I have been turning them over to a property management company, specifically Elite Property Management. But when my properties come vacant, I do the work. I have my contractors, my licensed contractors in there to do the work. I don't know if anyone that did any work on his property is licensed or not. I have licensed contractors who are capable, who can show their licenses and their insurance papers, their insurance documentation. And I've been spending a lot of money on these properties. Now, I own 674 East Philadelphia Street. I own 731 East Philadelphia Street. His property, this property that we're discussing, is close to both of mine. Whatever happens with his property affects my properties, my tenants, my business, my livelihood, and the rest of my neighbors. Now, even when my properties are not vacant, if one of my tenants calls me and says, Jane, hey, I don't know what happened, but the fudget needs fixed. I had a tenant call.
Ma'am, I don't mean no harm.
Okay.
Keep it strictly to this case.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I would point out that.
Yes.
Please keep it to the standards which are articulated with respect to variances and/or special exceptions.
Okay. I have been in business for 33 years. I'm interested in protecting my properties, my business, and my tenants. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
How is it able to go through and run it through the state or the city if
He don't have a license. He can't get his license until he get approved here. So he's running an illegal unit.
the city didn't catch that?
No, the city is not renting it. No, I think he's renting Section 8 or something like that. You know what I mean? But
That's
I
housing.
don't, that's the part that I don't understand how he would be able to get that, because normally he needs to show that certificate of occupancy to have this, and he don't have that. So
I would like to add a couple of things that you were talking about, like renovation in the house. I had over here a contract signed by Fuentes Property Management, 113 Sterling Place, your PA 17403. This is the company who rebuilt my house, okay? And everything is being doing by the book. My house is being renovated from the roof to the ground. I did a whole roof at the end of last summer, and that was thousands of dollars. I just paint this week. I pay to paint the whole outside of the house. Paint was good, but I like to see my stuff neat, in neat conditions. Spend $1,000 just to paint one wall, which is on North Franklin Street, and the front of the house, which is 12 feet wide. It cost me $1,000 to pay to paint the house. I'm working on the porch. I don't think I need permits for that. Removing the old rails around, because they been there since 1907 when the house was constructed, and putting a new rails, I put a new floor on the front porch. I want to see my house looking the best as possible. I'm worried about what I own. I value what I own because it cost me my life, my saving, my everything. I save my money to invest it, thinking about my children coming behind me. I have never asked for help to the state of Pennsylvania. I'm a hard worker, and she mentioned that I was struggling on 2018. I also mentioned that I went through a divorce. That costs money. I work, like I said, for David Tree Service, a company established in 1880 in Akron, Ohio, and pay in taxes. Because she mentioned last time that she paid taxes. I also pay taxes for my property. And I pay taxes from my job, around $15,000 to $16,000 in taxes every year since I started in that industry 5 years ago. So I am working for the state of Pennsylvania, the county, the city. I pay taxes to everyone. And just to let her know that I'm not here living on, I don't know how, but I'm a hard worker. I work 10 hours a day, and I want, if I can invest in the property to make it look better, that's what I'm doing. And I ask you, sorry.
Madam Chair, may I? From what it looks like with his last inspection report, he does have a tenant occupied license, and that's because it was issued for a single-family home. But then when they went in, they found 2 units, and they said that because of the situation, they didn't want to kick the other family out, so they put him through the process to see if he can get it legally. And if he's successful, then he's all right. But right now, he has a license for 1 unit. And technically, he will only need that because he lives in the other one, so it's owner occupied, and he's only renting 1 unit out. But it should be listed as 2 units in our system, and they don't have it listed as 2 units until he gets this approval.
And if he doesn't get the approval?
You have to convert it back to a single-family home.
All right, so are we deliberating, or where are we here?
Oh, hold on.
Lester has a question.
So I appreciate your drawings that you have here.
Yes.
Some of the dimensions would have been nice on here too, but if we don't approve you tonight, what kind of hardships would that put on you?
Well, if you're talking about the income,
No, I'm just, well, any hardship.
it will hard for me to keep living in the couch. That's gonna be hard. I mean, I have to open up the sofa bed every morning, close it when I get up. I really need a bathroom. I need to build that bathroom in the backyard. There's no any other place to it. I need to build the garage because to park outside is a situation. When I forget that this week, sometimes it's tricky, like this month had 5 Fridays. I'm not supposed to park on Franklin Street on one side of the street. Next morning, when I get up at 4:30 in the morning to get ready to go to work, I find the ticket on my windshield. I go like, oh man, again. You know, I try to not to do that, but we forget. That's one of the issues. I need my garage to get my cars and my tenant car inside. I don't want them on the street.
As of right now, you do have a garage though, right?
I do have a garage.
You said that there was 1 that you wanted to tear down.
Yes, it's a small garage where I have one of my cars constantly parking there. I don't leave it on the street. I know one of the, she mentioned last week that everyone had a garage full of junk, and they park on the street. And it's true. In my block, I can see only 3 or 4 people use the garage. Everybody park outside. Not me.
I have another question.
Yes, sir. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Did you have something, Anna? No. So, I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself now. So, the proposal to divide it into 2 units, but you will still be living in one of the units and just
Yes.
renting the
Yes.
second one?
Yes, sir. I will stay living in the first floor.
Okay, so I guess back to the parking issue, you're required to have 3, you can provide 2 though, correct?
No, it's only for 2 vehicles. One for me, one for the tenant.
Right.
If they want to use it. Because like I said, I talk to my neighbors and they say like, you know how difficult it is to park in that little garage? And it's true. I had to be really careful to get from Franklin, get into the alleyway, because my house is right in the corner, to get, when somebody parking here in front of me, it's hard for me to back in my parking, my garage.
To what's required.
Yes, you are required to have 3, but you can provide 2, but 1 space would be for you and the second space would be for the tenant, correct?
But we're gonna demolish the old garage. That's why I want to build a bigger one for 2 vehicles only. I'm not asking for 3 space.
The garage,
Hey, hold on. Let's clarify. I think right now he only has space for one parking.
Yes.
He has
Yes.
a small garage.
Yes.
And he wants to build a garage for 2, so he can provide 2 parking spots. So the future doesn't exist yet with the garage. So right now, he can only provide 1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to sort of address this idea of, I don't know, this atrocity that we feel like is people getting caught doing things that they didn't know they weren't supposed to do. And I don't know if you've been to a lot of these meetings, but it sounds like paperwork is a little funky throughout the entire city. And it also seems like there are a lot of properties in this city that aren't taken care of and that are certainly working illegally. When a fellow like this comes to us and says he's going to improve his property and make it a 2-unit, I tend to say, do what you got to do on your property. It makes sense to improve these neighborhoods, regardless of whether you're going to have more competition in your spots. We got to improve these neighborhoods. And if this guy's going to improve the neighborhoods, why aren't we going to let him do it? That's all I got to say.
And case number 16-2026-Z-SE-V, property at 701 Wallace Street. Move to approve a variance to the definition of multifamily conversion from a different use as defined in section 1304.01-1.02.002A for the subject property and the unknown 2 zoning district.
I'll second.
Has been moved to be approved by Blade and second by Adam. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sina, nay.
I would move to approve a dimensional variance for the multifamily conversion from a different use found in section 1304.01-1.02.002 to include conversion of a single-family home into 2 units for the subject property and the unknown 2 zoning district.
That was an approval.
Yes, move to
I'll
approve.
second.
It's been moved to be approved by Blade and second by Adam. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sina, nay.
And I would move to approve a variance to the required off-street parking spaces found in section 1304.01-1.02.002 for the subject property and the unknown 2 zoning district.
Do we need to make a specific amount on that? From 3 to 1?
Yes, you should, if you're reducing it, if you're waiving it all together, I'm okay with it. If you're reducing it from 3 to 1, then it should be, you should set that forth.
All right, can I just say so moved to what our solicitor said?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. It has been moved to be approved by Blade and second by Adam. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Nay.
Sina, nay.
And I would move to approve a variance for the maximum total impervious found in section 1303.12, subsection D, to convert an existing single-family dwelling into 2 units as a result of a future addition to the subject property and the unknown 2 zoning district.
I second.
It's been approved to be, it's been moved to be approved by Blade and second by Adam. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Nay.
Sina, nay.
Move to approve a variance to waive the special exception provision that the property must have been vacant for 2 years as found in section 1311.11C1 for the subject property and the unknown 2 zoning district.
I'll second.
It's been moved to be approved by Blade and second by Adam. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blade?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Nay.
Sina, nay.
And finally, I would move to approve a special exception to allow multifamily use as defined in section 1304.01-1.02.002 for the subject property in the unknown 2 zoning district.
I'll second.
It's been approved, it's been moved to be approved by Blade and second by Adam. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Sorry, Blade, I skipped over you.
Blade, aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Tina, nay.
Appreciate what you do.
Yeah, he just stepped out, but talk to Monty.
Yes.
All set, talk to Monty before you leave.
I thank you very much. I appreciate greatly,
Good luck.
and thank you so much. Have a great night.
So whenever you talk to any of your friends, just let them know your experience and let them know that if they're doing any type of work like that, they need to come to the city,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Happy Memorial Day for you, for everyone.
Case number 18-2026-Z-B. The applicant is Cherie Valoy of 3535 Pleasant Valley Road. The owner is Shameen Lambert, having an address of 805 East Prospect Street, which address is the same address as the subject property located in the RS2 single-family attached residential conservation district of the city of York. Applicant seeks a variance to permit a child care center in the RS2 zone, which use is not permitted by right or by special exception. The planning staff reviewed the application and recommended denial of the requested variance. The planning commission heard the case, and by way of unanimous vote of those taking part in the vote, one abstained, recommended approval. The record before the board this evening consists of the following: a February 2nd, 2026 letter from zoning officer McMillian, a 5-page demographic and child care information packet, 8 pages regarding information about the applicant, including certifications, 10 pages of photos of the subject property, and a lease agreement dated 10/21/2025.
Hello.
Hi.
Sharif Aloye.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Yes. F as in Frank, Aloye. The business name is the Marie Elizabeth Early Learning Center. And I believe we're at this point, due to needing a variance because of the area of the center.
Could you just tell us a little bit about the business?
I am looking to open the Marie Elizabeth Early Learning Center. That location would be set up for school-age children only, because of the way the room is set up. So it's one big room, there's a bathroom and a kitchen, full kitchen, and then there's a back room with a space for storage, washing, like dishes, the sink, and everything is back there. I just want to be able to provide childcare for families that are working, so the children would have somewhere to be before and after school and full-time during the summer.
I think I read 12 children. Is that what you were looking at?
Well, the space is eligible, I believe, for 24 children, but we only are starting with 12 because there's only one restroom. And the regulation, you have to have, there's only 12 children allowed when there's one restroom. We are in the process of adding a second restroom, which would allow an additional 12 children.
And are you already into your lease?
I've been paying. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, this may be in the packet. You have or still need to obtain whatever state licensure you need to do.
Right, I have to. This is
Step one, kind
yes,
of. Okay.
Basically, that's.
Thank you.
Yep.
But it looks like you have most of your personal licenses that you use as
Yes.
childcare provider.
Right.
And what sort of provider are you intending to be? Is this a family child care, a center? A
It
center.
would be a
Okay.
center.
All right.
Because there's,
Probably already said that.
yep, more than 6 unrelated children.
Makes sense. And are you working with any groups to sort of help you along in the process?
I am a former employee of the Community Connections for
Oh,
Children.
nice.
I
Okay,
worked
great.
For 18 and a half years, but I had to leave in order to do that because of the conflict of interest.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
So I do have a coach. He's not here, but Barb Green is who helps me. hmm
And how many employees will be there on site at all?
A max of 5, including myself, a second admin, an assistant group supervisor, an aide, and then a kitchen staff.
Okay, okay. So you got plenty of parking and all that?
Yes. Thank you. I didn't do it. That was my coach. I don't want to take her credit.
We appreciate clarity.
It would have been really cool if you said your kids put that one together.
Any other questions? In case of 18-2026-Z-B for the property at 805 East Prospect Street, I move to approve a variance to operate a child care center as defined in the section 1304.01-3.06.001 for the property at 805 East Prospect Street in the RS2 zoning district.
Second.
It's been moved to approve by Sina and second by Lester. Calling for the vote, Lester,
Aye.
Blade,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Sina. Aye. Thank you. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 19-2026-D-D/SE. The applicant is Joe Musso of Musso Development Services on behalf of the owner of the subject property, Lease Holding LLC, with an address of 844 East Market Street, York, Pennsylvania, 17403. The subject property is located at addresses 844 and 852 East Market Street, which addresses in the UN2 Urban Residential Neighborhood Zoning District of the City of York. Applicant seeks a variance and a special exception to permit a multifamily dwelling conversion from a different use. First, applicant seeks a variance to permit up to 9 units on the subject property, which density exceeds that permitted by the zoning ordinance. Applicant also seeks a special exception to permit the conversion. The application was reviewed by the planning staff of the City of York, which recommended denial of the requested variance and special exception. The case was heard by the City of York Planning Commission by way of unanimous vote. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the requested variance and special exception. The record before the board this evening consists of the application itself, a March 5th, 2026 letter from zoning officer McMillian, a narrative regarding the variance and special exception request, 2 pages of photos of the subject property, floor plans of the subject property, a layout of the parking lot of the subject property, and the deed to the subject property.
Good evening. I'm Joe Musso, as was said, with Musso Development Services. I'm here on behalf of my client, Chad Eisenhart, with Mies Housing LLC. The subject properties are 844, 846, and 852 East Market Street. They're 3 separate parcels with 3 separate attached dwellings. The dwellings have been used since 1986 by Bell Socialization Services. Bell is a nonprofit, as you know, and no taxes have been paid on these properties for 40 years. The dwellings are interconnected with 2 sets of stairs, so they're all, Bell made them into one kind of functional dwelling, but they never did separate. They're on 3 separate parcels right now. So we have a we hired a surveyor to do a survey of the properties so that we can do a redivision plan and put it all onto one lot, which is in the works. It's not quite finalized yet, but they're still working on that. And that would be the next thing we do, would be submit a redivision plan to Planning Commission. Properties were purchased by Mies on February 25th of this year with the intent of converting into 9-unit multifamily dwellings. In the pre-development meetings with the city, it was established that the conversion of any commercial, industrial, or institutional building to be used as a multifamily dwelling would require a special exception for a multifamily dwelling conversion from a different use. So that's why we are here tonight. The fact that the buildings were connected internally was problematic with the lots and so forth, as I told you. Just to tell you a little bit about Mies Housing, I'm going to have Chad come up and say a couple words, and also hand out. We did a project about 2 or 3 years ago, right across the street here. It used to be where it's at 45 East King Street. It's where I guess there used to be a magistrate's office in there. But at any rate, it fell into serious disrepair. The roof collapsed on one of the units, and it was in a very bad way. It hasn't since been redeveloped after we got a special exception for 8 units on that property. In fact, Chad lives in that property presently. So when you leave tonight, take a peek at that place. It's a beautiful building, and Chad did a beautiful job, and I expect the same in this instance. You want to just tell folks what you have in mind?
So it's about 9,000 square feet. Joe did mention that I did talk to the surveyor this week. They came back with it was 0.39 acres with all combined. And when you do the math of 24 units per acre, it comes out to like 9.3. When originally I talked to Nancy, before I even looked at the place, I came and talked to Nancy, and she was the one that put 9 in my head. And then, but then after Monty did the math at some point, and he came up with less than 9.
I'll provide some evidence on that.
Okay. Yeah, what questions can I answer? There's 11.5 bathrooms, so I'm trying to learn from past mistakes and not move too many walls and make too many changes. The apartments will be decent sized. It's mostly 1 bedroom, 1 bath. I think there's a couple, maybe like 2 or 3 that are 2 bedroom. There's one that's 2 bedroom, 2 bath. There's already an ADA unit in there. So we're gonna work on making that one a type A, and try to avoid doing any type B, just the way the openings are.
So, sorry, is there the 9 units? Is that a question in terms of how it works for you guys, how it works for you, Monty? What's the situation?
I have evidence on that. I'll provide for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just throw something out though for the board.
Yeah.
That what Monty came up with is close to 8 units or for the acreage. So we're looking at 1 unit. That's what they're asking for.
Okay, one additional unit essentially. Yeah.
I have
Okay.
8 based
All
on
right.
Actually, 3/4 of a unit.
Yeah, okay. I didn't go into all the decimal points.
But I do want to provide some evidence here. And
I gave them, that's at the next to last, that's the last page in the packet. Okay.
Can you submit this as evidence, please? Yes, absolutely. What he submitted there and what he says is in that little packet he just gave you is an email from our surveyor, Gordon L. Brown Associates, who's putting everything together. Now, when I did the application, I used what the county courthouse said the area of the lots were, added them all up, and it came up so that we were short of 9. And that's why we were going to do a variance here today, and I still want to do the variance, but his note to he's not quite complete, but he's saying the approximate area is going to be 0.39 acres, or somewhere very close to that. And when, as was said, when you multiply that out, it comes to 9.37 units would actually be permitted on this. Now, that's not definite. So, with all due respect, I'd like to maintain the variance as part of the special exception. I can go through any of the special exception criteria if you're concerned. I know it's a long night, and we'll just answer any questions you have and go from there. There's 10 spaces on the property currently in the back. And there's plenty of room for more. And in fact, we have submitted a plan to the city showing that we can do 4 more. So we will have adequate parking by city standards for 9. It would be 1.5 per. So that base will be covered. There's also an existing, as Chad said, there's an existing handicap ramp in the back from the parking area to the handicapped unit. And it's, the property, although it was considered commercial because it was owned by a nonprofit, was set up as a residential building. People lived in it, and families lived in it. And, with a few changes that we're going to make to it on the inside, we can make it 9 excellent apartments. And I think it'd be nice to have this back on the tax rolls.
I just want to pass this document around to the audience here. This is how you do it. That looks great, yeah.
I have to say, when you first started that, I was living on the corner of King.
So
Walking out.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this. Firstly, I moved before it was done, but fabulous job.
Thank you.
So,
Any questions from the board?
yeah, so I live just down the street from this property that you're looking at right here, and I used to work at the Catholic Harvest Food Pantry, which is just towards Center City on this. And I always wondered what was going on with these buildings, because they haven't changed in 20 years. So what I'm hearing, and what I'm hearing from the board members here, is that you're gonna make this building look a whole lot better for that section of town. And if you're gonna be doing that, that section of Market Street sorely needs help. So you're gonna be changing that so it kind of looks like what you did at 45?
Yeah, I'm getting the roofs done first. I mean, I have quotes for
Well,
like
you gotta get the
40, 80 grand, so that's where I'm at. The next step is the woodwork on the front. There's interior woodwork. I'm trying to find a carpenter and then rent a lift for a month, and we'll paint the front. I don't know, did you put the back image?
Yeah,
There's like we're painting the siding in the back, and as like, I just threw in ChatGPT, and I was like, what the changes that we were, it suggested, I'm like, for $5 grand, it's, it's a done deal. It looks great.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and it wasn't too much maintenance. That's long term.
And so I know that area of the city. What income level are you targeting?
Sure. Well,
It might be in the packet, but I'm sorry.
It's not. So I mean, like over there, I did quartz countertops, central air in all the units. I'm gonna do washer and dryer in all the units. Sure.
Let's steer clear of that question. Sorry.
Oh.
I was reading something, but we don't want to run afoul of any Fair Housing Act.
Oh, okay.
issues here, so we're
Okay,
gonna
sorry.
steer clear of that.
Sorry.
Any other questions?
You can finish with it.
I'll do it.
That'll be nice.
So for 19-2026-Z-SE-V for the properties at 844-852 East Market Street, move to approve a dimensional variance found in section 1304.01-1.02.002 to include conversion of a multifamily home into 9 units for the property at 844-852 East Market Street in the unknown 2 zoning district.
And I'll second.
It's been moved to be approved by Lester and second by Adams. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blake? Aye. Adams?
Aye.
Nick? Aye. Sina, aye.
So did that vote cover the special exception and the variance?
That's
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, so we got then, for 19-2026-Z-SV-SE-V, the property's at 844-852 East Market Street. I move to approve of a special exception to allow multifamily use as defined in sections 1304.01-1.02.002 for the property at 844-852 East Market Street in the UN2 zoning district.
And I'll second.
It's been moved to be approved by Lester, second by Adam. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blake?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick? Aye. Tina, aye.
Thank you so much. Pleasure spending the evening with you.
Looking forward to
Your
it.
package was exceptional, by the way, too.
Yeah.
It was easy to read. I was ready to vote like 10 minutes ago.
Why didn't you?
That's because there was other
I'll keep my comments to myself.
Appreciate you guys.
Good. I'm ready for somebody to do something with those pictures. They're so atrocious.
The applicant is Stephen Albrecht of McNeese, Wallace and Merritt on behalf of the owner of the property, Shipley Family LLP, having a business address of 415 Norway Street, York, Pennsylvania. Subject property is located at 150 Fulton Street, which address is located in the EC Employment Center zoning district of the city of York. Applicant seeks 4 variances related to front yard setbacks, parking within front yard areas, landscaping, buffer requirements, and driveway configurations. The application was reviewed by the planning staff of the city of York. The planning staff recommends denial of the requested variances. The case was heard by the city of York Planning Commission. By way of unanimous vote, the planning commission recommended approval of the requested variances. The record before the board this evening consists of the application itself, a variance narrative, a February 24th, 2026 letter from zoning officer McMillian, an agreement of sale, a plan from site design concepts, a description of work to be performed, 7 pages of depictions of the property, an aerial view of the property, and 6 pages of photos of the subject property as it exists.
One thing I just want to correct Andy. We represent Wire Mesh Products, who's the equitable owner. Shipley is the owner of the parcel. That's it.
I apologize.
No worries.
I thought that this was Wire Mesh, and I review by the, okay.
No worries.
Is Wire Mesh buying it from Shipley? I thought I read that in the.
Correct. Yep.
It hasn't happened yet.
Equitable owner, it means they have a contract. So yeah, they're in the process of it. It basically hinges on whether we get approval of this or not. I had a beautiful 1.5 hour long presentation, but I'm gonna try to sum it up in a 1.5 minutes, if that's all right. I was gonna elicit testimony from our engineer, James Previch, and Dustin Carl's here as the VP from Wire Mesh Products to talk about operational stuff. And we have Eric Vosberg, who's the architect on the project as well. Just a brief background. I mean, you guys can see the plan here. It's a unique lot. It's very long, very skinny. And we're basically constrained on 3 sides by road frontages that are greater than 20 feet, which means we have front yards on all 3 sides, and then the active rail corridor out back. So if you can look at this plan here, basically we have the setback is this dotted line, and that would be the area that would be in compliance with the zoning ordinance. We've tried multiple different renderings to try to get this to fit on here, but with our operational needs, we need a warehouse of this size, and we cannot physically put it anywhere else on the property to get it in conformity, which is why we're asking for the variances. The parking is over here, which is technically also in a front yard, even though, depending on how you look at the property, it's situated, in the back. But we need to ask a variance for that. The parking spaces are the number that is required by the ordinance, so we're solid there. And then we designed it in kind of a way to allow easiest possible truck traffic. Coming down East Princess, they're going to turn in to the warehouse site here, and they're going to drive right past these loading docks on our property and back down into the loading docks. So nothing is happening on the street as far as blocking traffic or trucks backing into the road. Also, our existing property is located right across King Street here, and we're just expanding operations. We need the space. We've been in York since 1975. It's a staple in the community, providing jobs and paying taxes. And so we are trying to just expand across the street. This lot is an opportunity that we just wanted to explore. We couldn't pass it up. And so we decided to go for it. As long as we get the zoning approvals that we need, we want to stay in York. If we can't get this done, we have to, as a business, look elsewhere, which we do not want to do because we've been here since the beginning. So I'm going to spare the testimony, and I will open it up for questions. If you guys have operational questions about wire mesh and what they do and what they're planning to do, fire away at Dustin or his son, who's here. And then if you have questions about architectural stuff, Eric's here for that, and then site design is going to be James.
Is there anyone here who is opposed to this project? No. Okay.
Hey, you gotta ask. I have one question.
Sure.
Are you gonna use the rail behind or not?
No, we did not use the rail.
Not gonna use rail?
Nope.
That was the only question I had. I thought this was an exceptional package.
Thank you.
I'm ready to go right now. So if there's not any questions,
Frankly, if you want to say all, approve all, I'm okay with it. You okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
If you want to just say.
I recommend approving all for the case number 20-2026-V-V for the property at 150 Fulton Street. I recommend 1, 2, 3, 4 approvals of everything that's listed there.
Second.
It has been moved to be approved by Nick and seconded by Blake. Calling for the vote. Lester?
Aye.
Blake?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Zena? Aye.
And I'm sorry you were the last guy. And you had to actually come out. So I'm kind of happy you were the last guy. But he can have the ears and all that kind of stuff for it.
The first guy is
Thanks, guys. Thank you for the Yes. So you're one in our favor. Maybe I always work the last time.